Yes, 1, 2. Hey, folks, we're live. Am I in focus? I think so. I think so. We can never trust these cameras. It's supposed to be autofocus. What they focus on is a completely different matter, though. How's it going, Jeffrey? Good to see you, dude. I need to check out this chatbot section for viewers. This makes life interesting, I suppose. You can actually see what are the chatbots, who are your viewers. I suppose it could be mod view, maybe? Certainly streamer view doesn't show me who's watching right now. Unless I've hidden that feature. Ah, here we go. I'll check reactions edit stream info. Dear me, okie dokie. Oh, interesting. That's cool. So it's a community tab that has all the breakdown. Cool. You can see all my bots. Nice. Let's make sure my alt is fully active. There we go. First we're saying mods and viewers. Nice. Yeah, you can actually see a little section for your VIPs and all that stuff. I've never looked at that before. So I'm usually only looking at the stream manager. Because Mix It Up bot tells me a viewer list. So I don't tend to look at Twitch's viewer list. That's cool. Nice, might have to look at it a bit more. Let's bring things back on my screen. There they are. Right, I hope everyone's had a good week so far. We're Wednesday now, halfway through the week. Do some Blender stuff. Let's go switch over to the main screen for Blender. So we were looking at doing some shoes. So I'm hoping something like this should be fairly simple to make. This could be kind of like an L shape. So we can start with just making a flat shoe, I suppose, like a flat block, and then put the back of the heel in the front part. Don't keep them too long uncovered for too long. You stream, I attract the weirdos. Yeah. And we already have enough weirdos for the stream. We don't need to attract any more. So let's make a new. Let's go new mesh. Let's go cube. There's our cube. I personally feel attacked. I did not mention who the weirdos were, but if you wish to identify as a weirdo, I am not going to judge you. Right, so this is a little bit too big for a shoe. Only some of my personalities are. Yeah, some of the voices in my head are weirdos. Right, I want to scale this down. Down. Do I need to find things to smoke or I will not be friendly? Okay. Notice that out. Oh yeah. Go get the smokes. I need to stretch that out a little bit this direction. Back sometimes if I don't smoke for a long time and I do feel like nicotine tingle in my veins. Ah. Yeah, I suppose it's yeah, I've never got to the stage of needing nicotine, thankfully. Like, I had a couple of times where I go, ooh, I could really do with something, and nicotine seems like a good idea. But yeah, I've never felt that. It's a happy feeling. Well, that's good. It's better to have happy feels. Same as one time buzz when the pills and the booze hit a certain way. Doesn't always happen the same way, but when it does, it's all buzz and magnificent. Nice. There's also a chance it hits wrong and I puke. Ah. Yes, it's a little bit of a gamble, that. Yeah, the gamble. Well, I suppose most substances can be a gamble if they're not a guarantee. Give her Air Jordans. That's an old advert, isn't it? I haven't seen Air Jordans for a long time. Yeah, could do as bonus items. Just find Air Jordans in a cave somewhere. I wear nothing but. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'm purely Converse these days. I might even just try and make some Converse shoes as a Easter egg type item. It'd be nice to have. Yeah, I'd like to add like Easter egg clothing into the game. So like different, the player character will have different things they can hold in which to cast magic. And I want one or two of the items to be silly. Or kind of like reference other things. So the clothing as well could be fun. Doesn't have to be too serious. It's about just having fun anyway, really. So we'll start with the basics for now. So I think I've got. She's basically wearing a concrete block at the moment. Let's put it on wireframe. Billy Coogan from Smashing Pumpkins was wearing Like a Buddhist robe with purple Air Jordans at the Aussie Back to the Beginning show. It's possible. Nice. I've still not watched it. I obviously downloaded the show. I've not actually watched it. I need to kind of. I don't tend to watch a lot of things these days. Like, I barely have time to kind of sit down. I really should make more time to sit down and just chill, put something on, and kind of just relax. The only thing I managed to do recently is watch the Alien Earth series. And that's literally the only thing I've done in a long time. Well, apart from watch the occasional YouTube video here and there, but that's not really commitment. Most videos are like 15-20 minutes. Let's resize the width. Probably need to size it down anyway. Send screenshot. Cool, thank you. That's kind of the right kind of width. I suppose really I want it to just be the base of the shoe that I can then bring the heel up. So we can do with shrinking this a bit more. So just cover the bottom of the foot. He did that song with the guitarist of Judas Priest and guitarist of Rage Against the Machine, which was epic. I thought it was so epic. Yeah, I bet the whole thing was amazing. As I've not watched it yet. And I could justify the money. I would have loved to have been there, but this wasn't justifiable, especially with the cost of everything else. I think that's a good start there. So I can basically raise the... see the message. Nice. That's pretty cool. Send some inspiration for wizard robe sneakers. Certainly, I could certainly try and make a character that looks very much like Billy. Because there's going to be quite a few wizard-like characters in this game. It says you happen to play a young wizard. You like Smashing Pumpkins? I do. They're a band I tend to forget about a lot. But that's not to say I don't like them. So I'm quite happy to listen to Smashing Pumpkins, and I never skip their music if it's on a playlist. But it's not a band I think about, and I don't go, oh, I'm going to play some Smashing Pumpkins. It's a shame, really. But yeah, I do like them. It's a bit hit and miss for me. Songs I love, I really love. Some songs I don't really like. Yeah, yeah. It's not a band that I immediately get drawn to, but I like their songs. And the thing is, I couldn't name you their songs, and I probably only know a handful of their songs, which are the ones I like. I know there are people out there that are friends of mine that could probably name every album and every song. But yeah, I have bands that sort of hit different for me. I tend to go towards those first. I just own one best of with all my faves on it. Seems to be the way to go. Yeah, there's a lot of bands like that, or artists in general. Like, if the best of is all you're gonna need to enjoy them, then that's all you need. You don't need to be a super fan to enjoy a band. Right, let's switch on the. Basically, looks like she's wearing a tissue box for a shoe. So I suppose I need to kind of have a zoom out and look at the shoe on the side there. So basically, I've done the bit of the toe and straight across. So I need to kind of bring the bridge over the top of the foot and bring this back up, and then kind of curve the whole thing. Probably better off putting some subdivides on this, so I can have some vertices to play with. Let's go to edit mode. Probably going something like that, I'd say. Looks sufficient. I suppose need to kind of extend up these faces here. Obviously not that. Bring that forward a little bit. Today we got the official government list to answer questions at the end. It tells you what party to vote for, which is closer to you. Oh, okay. So is that an official thing then, you say, from the government itself? Just filled it in. I'd send screenshots so it was in Dutch. We don't know the article, yeah. Official, nice. That we have third-party things like that. I forgot what they call it. It's a website. Yeah, I can't remember what the website is, but there's an unofficial website that pretty much does that for us. And it doesn't tell you what party each of the questions will point you towards until the very end, and it goes, well, based on what answers you gave, you kind of mostly align with this party on these kind of things, and this party and that kind of things, and I think everyone should do that in the UK, to be honest, rather than go, well, this party said this one thing that I agree with, and I didn't bother to look at anything else they do. You go, no, if you're going to vote for a party, agree with most of what they're saying, not just the one thing. 20-party system, blimey. Yeah, it's kind of necessary. I reckon they should have that in the UK. I think that's a great idea. Because, yeah, we only have, I want to say 5 parties. They typically have 4 parties plus independents, typically. But we've got a 5th party now. Because we have the Conservatives, Labour, who are currently in power. The Liberal Democrats, the Greens party, and there's just a new party started up called Your Party, which is a split off of the old Labour Party. 2 people that were in Labour sort of split off to make their own version of the Labour Party, because the Labour Party is no longer about the workers' rights, whereas that's what the Labour Party started as. So they're trying to make a new, old version, if that makes sense. Graham years ago was like, we have it better than the US since we have more to choose from. It's impossible to form governments now. Yeah. That's why you have to have like constant coalitions when you, like multiple party coalitions. 20 plus too many, yeah. Yeah. But we've got, let's say we've got the Conservatives, Labour, Liberal Democrats, Greens, and now Your Party, which is what they've called, just called Your Party. We do have, I don't know how many members, but there's a joke party called Monster Raving Loony Party. And they're not serious. They're just there to kind of make fun of the whole voting thing. But they always get some votes. And the candidate always wears a silly costume. We always were a coalition country. I never had a one-party government. But the problem now is that they can't form coalition no more, since most of the 20 plus hate each other. Oh no. There's got to be some common ground, hopefully, somewhere. Like, for as long as I can remember, apart from the one time, we've always been a one party. There was the one time where it was a Conservative and Liberal Democrat coalition, which is an odd combination because the Conservatives are very much about hoarding money and the Liberal Democrats are very much about spending the money. But we had a coalition between the two of them. The whole reason we had to vote now is that the current coalition fell within a year due to infighting. Oh. How many... It's mad to think you have 20 plus parties. How can they be so different from each other? There's going to be so many talking points that a government can address. And are they all kind of got different views on everything? Like, for like major things like immigration and housing and sort of welfare. No, but one thing is enough to refuse to cooperate. Oh. Yeah, it seems like the British government's probably slightly more on board with that then. Because I don't know how the coalition between the Conservative and the Liberal Democrats worked. I think the Liberal Democrats basically made the Conservatives less right wing, like kind of like dampened the right wing process that the Conservatives normally would, but it certainly wasn't sort of left leaning. I think it's just less right leaning because it was a coalition with the Liberal Democrats. Now, there would never be a coalition between the Liberal Democrat, well, a coalition between Conservative and Labour, because those two parties are very similar, but both want kind of one party rule kind of thing. Both parties are too close to each other to want a coalition with each other. And they're always kind of saying, well, we can, whatever they do wrong, we'll do better. So it makes it basically a shouting match between the two of them. Hey, how's it going? Ooh, I have to apologise, I'm not going to be able to say your name very well, but I'll give it a go. Avishek? Do apologise, but hi, welcome in. We're doing some Blender stuff. Like, let's take the left. There is some kind of liberal woke-like left that is mostly about pro-immigration, pro-tax on high income, pro-higher welfare, anti-racism, pro-LGBT. How to develop games and app. That's a big question. There's a lot involved, but it depends. You can tackle one of those things. Like, the bit we're doing today is purely modelling characters. This is purely one part of what you can do for game dev. Make a character, and then you have to make everything else that the character will exist in. Then write the code, write the music, write the story. So developing games is very many different roles. But basically it's something visual that does something cool, sounds cool, and it's fun to play. There's far left socialists who agree on all those things except immigration. They want socialist workers guaranteed within borders, immigrants take away low income jobs, no coercion possible. Yeah. That's even the British government were able to like have a conversation like, okay, we don't fully agree with what they're saying, don't fully agree with what they're saying, but can we find something in the middle that kind of works for both? And it was okay. It wasn't the best government, but I have an idea, but there's a lot of problems to it. Yeah, that's... You're from India. Nice to speak to you from India. Yeah, there's a... kind of break it down into different things. So if you have an idea, you just tackle each individual part of the idea separately. Like if it's story, you write a story like a book. If it's characters, you get a piece of paper, you draw the character. And if it's coding, coding ends up being depending how you want to code, how complicated you want the mechanics to be. But you can start off simple. I always recommend if you want to do any app or game development is to make something that is rubbish. Make a rubbish thing that doesn't do anything too fun, just does a thing. And once you've made something that is rubbish and doesn't really do much, you have made a thing and you just make a thing that's better. But always start off making something that you can click go and it does a thing. So if it's an app that you have on your phone, make an app that opens, says hello and then closes. You made an app. You want a game, have a game that opens up, says click this button to win, you click the button, you win, you made a game. And then you just kind of expand from there. Having them all splintered, no majority possible. Nah. By the way, they're not really left. They only left on the anti-racism views and of the left and wants higher welfare because most Muslims are lower income, but they are very LGBT and want separation of women and men. Interesting. Brother, I have a game idea in my mind, but I am finding it difficult to make it. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, game dev on paper sounds easy. Like most people want to just go, game, got it. But think. Yeah. Don't try and make the game that you want to make in your mind. Put that on the side. So you go, this is the game I want to make. I'm going to put it here. And just make any game. Doesn't matter. It could be just make a bad game. That's what I've done. I stream on Fridays making a bad game. And this character here is for my good game. This is the game that is in my head. So this character I've had in my head. And I've started making the character. This is all I have from the game in my head so far. But I've been making a bad game so I can just make a game to learn how to make a game works. And then once I've made the bad game, I go, well, I know how to make a game now. Let's make the game in my head. but then you're not worrying. You make a bad game, you don't have to worry about the game being a good game. Just worry about making a game. I say it could be simple like a button or a little spaceship. Just think of the old arcade games. Try and make that first. And there's a lot of free stuff out there. If you want to make a 2D game, you can use a game engine like Game Maker or Godot. You can use Unity for 2D. So have a look online of different game engines. Go, okay, what will actually help me make my game? And there's if you go to if you use Reddit is very good. There's people on Reddit that can sort of give you different bits of advice on different things, but it's a long journey. Like making a game that you want to make will take you years. Making a bad game will take you 6 weeks. So focus on making a bad game and then make the game you want to make. But yeah, Reddit / indie dev is a pretty good place to see what other people have been doing. But yeah, Google some YouTube videos on make my first game in Godot or make my first game in Game Maker. Hey Nix, thank you for the hearts. It's been so long since I've seen the hearts. It's good to see you. But yeah, making games is not easy. There's so many things involved. Let's catch up on you, Jeffrey. They just economically left and tried to disguise themselves as ethnic supremacy under the no racism. If you don't get that, explain third party above these messages. Yeah, it's okay. The right is mostly splintered around if they are pro-EU or Nexit or fight over Ukraine or Russian news. It's been a while, it has. And that's okay. Hey Sam, how's it going? I started learning how to use Blender yesterday. I want to try making a game eventually. Awesome! That's good news. That ever since I was having this discussion with my work colleagues in the office today, that ever since I was 8 years old, I wanted to make a game, and I'm now 41. So it's taken me a while, but I made my first game character. Admittedly, I downloaded the actual human model, but I'm dressing the model, I'm making clothing, and I've made static objects. But this is a character that's been in my head for about 2 years. I'm finally making a model of. But on Fridays I've been streaming making a bad game, or a silly game as I call my stream titles. Made a game already or just getting started? So yeah, Fridays I've been making a silly game in Unity. And that started off me watching a few tutorials to how to make games in Unity. Picked up a few mechanic ideas and just started throwing things at the game engine. And I've just expanded it into a game. It's using found assets. There's a couple of assets I've built in Blender and then put into the game just to put my personal touch to it. But it's mostly using assets already, so I can learn making the game. Because you shouldn't feel you have to make all the assets yourself. At least for your first game. Making a game can just use pictures you found online, models you found online. Obviously, if it belongs to other people, you have to look at licensing and credit and stuff if you want to release it. If it's just for you and your friends and family, I won't judge anyone for taking anything that's technically not licensed to be released, because you're not releasing it. You're making a game for you. But yeah, certainly finding free assets online. You can get free Blender models, free Unity models, free Unreal Engine models, and just throw a rubbish looking character into a game, make them move, make them shoot a gun. But yeah, I've been learning Unity for over a year now, just doing a couple of hours a week. But I've been trying to learn Blender as well at the same time. So Blender I've only been doing for, what have I called my stream to? 14. So this is the 14th session of me learning Blender. Unity I've been learning for a little bit longer sessions. But I'm fortunate I already know coding. Like, my background is coding. Like, I've been coding since as much long as I've had a computer. And I know C# and I know many other languages. So it's just literally how to use a game engine that I've been trying to learn. And my Blender knowledge is slowly coming along. I'm trying to make a shoe. It took me several streams to make a shawl kind of cloak thing. It took me a few streams to make some trousers that look fairly convincing. And now we're trying shoes. But what kind of game are you thinking, Sam? Probably going to study code in school eventually. Just want to make sure I know how to build things first. Good idea. There's no specific entry point into game dev. Like game dev is. Be right back, okie dokie. See you shortly. Game dev is 3D modeling. Game dev is 2D art. Game dev is music creation. Game dev is coding. Game dev is story writing. Like, it's kind of a notion that to be a... Hey, thank you for the sub on YouTube, Sam. Much appreciate that. I do appreciate anyone who follows or subs, because you can just be here and chat, and I'm happy either way. But yeah, a lot of people think you're not a game dev unless you can write code. But then things like Unreal Engine has blueprints and Unity has visual scripting. None of that is typing code. You can even go as far as using Scratch, which is a learning game engine. You just drag and drop statements, like drag and drop a keybind statement, drag and drop an if statement. And you don't have to type a single piece of code. So yeah, a game dev is literally anyone who makes stuff for a game. Always want to make my own game, but never really had the time or energy for it. I can feel that. Finished school now, want to put work into this stream I have since I was a kid. Awesome. Now, as I said to Abhishek, I do apologise if I've said that wrong. But yeah, just start learning something. And don't try and make your dream game first time. Make a bad game. I've seen this advice put around online. This is not original, this is not my idea, but I've seen other people say it so many times, and I agree with it, that the first game you ever make needs to be a bad game. It needs to be lame. It needs to be something that you would never buy yourself. Just so you can kind of learn the ropes, learn how a game is put together, and then learn where it goes wrong. Go, oh, the way I did that is a bit bad, really. I can definitely do that better. And doing that better is your game that you want to make afterwards. Which is where I've gone with my learnings. That I've learnt enough things to make a game, and I'm just making a bad game, which unfortunately for me has become a less bad game, probably mildly good game, because people come into the stream and go, "Ooh, I like what you're doing, but I think this will make it even better." And I've just improved by just looking at this bad game and just making it better as I went, which is not ideal because it's a bit messy. Is that, well, I started building it this way, but then found out later on that if I did it this way, it'll be better. But that means I've built the better bit on top of a bad foundation. So when I make my next game, the good foundation that I learned from the bad game will be there. And I'll make the game I want to make as well as I can. And I might find out I can do it better still on the next time I build a game. But you're going about it the right way. You're learning stuff. Learning anything to do a game dev, whether it's a simple game that loads up, has a button that says click here to win the game. That is still a game. Learn how to make a game, then make the game you want to make. We've got so many people coming here to learn game dev. I love to someone much older than me and find love in gaming and try and making them. Oh, welcome in, Dan Tran. Do apologise. My concept of names are a bit awkward. Do you like trying making games? Yes, fun. Games are fun to play. It's the whole point of a game. If a game isn't fun to play, it's not really a game. It's a task. It's a task that's kind of taking your time up. But yeah, making games, playing games, learning how to make stuff is always fun in my mind. Yeah, I think that the more you communicate with other creators, more information you get, the better things will go in the future. Yeah, it's silly to think you can get good at doing something by yourself. Like, you can practice and stuff, but I find even like in the office during my day job, having other people's input improves what I do. And I might think it looks okay. I might feel that it's doing what it should be doing. But until I go to somebody else, well, is this looking good? Is this doing something that it should be doing? Because I think it is. And someone actually goes, well, it's like 99% doing what it should be, but it's not doing this, or I can't do that if I wanted to do this. You go, actually, no, I didn't think of that. That's not something that I had as a thought. But I agree with what you're saying, so that's expanded my creativity in my mind on what to do with it. But yeah, certainly game dev seems to be a very good community out there that people will bounce off each other, and things like I've not actually joined one yet, but I want to join a game jam. Game jams are basically a huge group of people will be given one objective to make a game, and then you all submit your game and go, well, the task was to make a game about flying saucers. Here is my attempt at making a game about flying saucers. Can I see your attempt at making a game about flying saucers? And you go, oh, I like what you did there. I didn't think about having the flying saucer flash colours. How did you do that? And they can go, oh, I like the way your flying saucer kind of bounces off hillsides and stuff. It's like, it's quite good for like understanding multiple viewpoints of the same objective. And it forces you to make a game that is simple, because game jams only give you so many weeks to make the game. And it's a very simple objective usually. But I've not signed up to one yet. When I'm a little bit more confident that I could just take a concept and just make something in a few weeks, then I'll join one. Yeah, you can follow as many tutorials as you want, but it will never really help you make your own game. Just give you the basics to start. I made a well in Blender today. It's very tedious. Nice, well done. Yeah, I agree. That's what I did with my silly game, my bad game. Is I followed a few tutorials, and got the basic idea. Okay, this is how to move an object around this world. And the tutorial was a bowling game, taking a bowling ball, which is just a sphere, in the concept of the game engine, applying a force, and letting the game engine calculate the rolling of this ball towards these pins, and when it hits the pins will naturally fall over due to gravity. So I took that concept and that mechanic and go, what can I do with taking an object and applying a forward force to it? I think, well, it's kind of like throwing something. And I eventually made a game about a medieval style trebuchet, kind of winding back and throwing a rock towards a castle, and then making the castle react to this rock. And I built a game around this whole kind of trebuchet throwing a rock at a castle wall. Just a simple mechanic. It's not the game I wanted to make, it's not a game I thought about making until I learnt about that mechanic. And I've learnt more mechanics since to expand on it. You're trying to model a shoe? I am. I've not looked at any tutorials for modelling a shoe, but I thought if I make a blocky representation of a shoe, and I'll go from there. Since I have no coding experience, I have to work with just making models and maps to practice. That's still great. That's a great skill. There's people that are employed in game studios just to do that. So that in itself is a job. If you're a solo developer or a small team developers, then you will have to do that anyway, typically. Unless somebody is great at coding but not very good at making maps and models, then you'd have to work as a partnership kind of thing. I am trying to do everything. At least trying to learn how to do everything. If I learn how to do everything, but I need help, at least I can ask for... I know what to ask for. Okay, well, I'm struggling to make a shoe. I'll try and find somebody that can make shoes. But at least I know I'm struggling to make a shoe and not... Well, I don't know how to make anything in Blender, so I won't bother. Yeah, I started off just making a blocky shoe here. And then I'll kind of shape it to match that shoe in the background there. And so I was fortunate this human model, cartoony model, was given away for free use, open license for anyone to use as they wish. So awesome, I can use this as my base to kind of build around, learn Blender modeling around an established model. I'm actually really interested in working at a studio in the future. My last job was totally different from what I'm actually wanting to achieve. That's a good ambition. Now, it's hard to get into game dev as a career. That's why I'm going to doing solo dev stuff, because I want to learn it. I don't know if I want to move into it as a career, but I'd like working for a studio. Especially the way that the industry is at the moment. It's like a lot of game dev studios put their workers under crunch, which is like, say, well, I want you to do 10 weeks worth of work in 6 weeks kind of thing. Work quicker. And that's not healthy for anyone. But it's pretty much a regular thing in the industry. Can I give you advice on how to model? Because I'm seeing you making the same mistake I was starting to learn model. Sure, fire away. I'm always happy. Like a lot of this clothing here, if I wind it back, like a little bit of help with the shore kind of cloak. A lot of help I needed from the trousers. This, on the other hand, I have had no help so far. I literally started today. But I know there's probably tutorials out there for learning how to make a shoe. Well, actually, no, I know there's tutorials because I saw one pop up, but you have to pay for it. So I thought, no, we should not. Let's put that back there. Cause I suppose I could do something like proportional editing to kind of lift the side of the shoe up rather than building it as a block. I just kind of want to pinch and draw it up. But I've got the basic dimensions of what I want the shoe to be. I just need to shape it now. But I'm pretty much a noob when it comes to Blender. But yeah, at the moment I'm kind of trying things, seeing how to do it, realizing it's the bad way, learning why it's the bad way, learning the better way, and then I kind of understand why it's the better way then. Because if you always do things the way that you're told to do, you don't know why. That's the way you do things. Does that make sense? It's always better to know why something's the best way. And if they can't give you an answer why it's the best way, maybe there is a better way. They just don't know themselves. What I would probably do here is probably flatten this whole thing and like lift it up. So I could probably go all the way back and so the mindset you will want to hold is not seeing it as a block, but as a drawing. You start with sketches with lines, not a full block. Ah, okay. So kind of drawing it on the side first. Is that what you're saying? So if I were to kind of like kind of create a shape on the sides of it. Start with only lines. Okay. So we'll go back into object mode. We'll get rid of this because it only took me a few minutes to make that. So, what have we got here? So, is it best to start with a 2D, like a plane? Do we do a plane and then mold, like shape the plane, or do you actually draw the lines? One vertex. Okay. Then extrude out. Ah, so you take the vertex and extrude from the vertex around. Okay. So I think, to my understanding, you just make a random shape and then crush it down to one vertex, is what I've been told before. Because I don't think it's strictly a pencil, is it? Now, if I took a cube, You're looking to learn as well, Sam? Yeah, that's good. So good to know these things. Imagine you're drawing. Okay, let's make a single vertex. Actually, let's go back. Now, if I basically if I turn this into a single vertex, then I've got myself a vertex then. I want to merge everything, don't I? There you go. Merge vertices at centre. That's not it, is it? Damn. Get drawing part. I just want to know how to start side blended yesterday. Ooh, okay. Draw the line of the shape. Cool. Just trying to get as much help as information I can now. Awesome. It's probably not the best way of doing it, but that's I basically need to have a vertex. So leave myself with one vertex, and then we'll. Okay, so I have a vertex. Draw the line of the ship. Okay, if I start off, probably the easiest place to start from the sole there. Yeah, simple as sole, awesome. We're on the same page. And then we just extrude along the y-axis. So we have a line. So E to extrude. I suppose we want it to be slightly curved, don't we, around the front of the foot. Let's make it on the Z axis so it's straight up. Okay. Just follow the lines of the foot, I suppose. So just pushing E and then moving, clicking and pushing E again. And it's probably going to be about to there. Because I can only extrude the entire thing up if I want a higher, high top kind of thing. And then come across this way. Lock to the Y axis. Push the Y key. And then lock to the Z axis. So kind of like that. Make some adjustments. That's roughly in line. And we can merge those two together to make a shape, I suppose. Well, to really merge at the bottom, do I? Merge at last. I could do that sole being a little bit lower, so let's grab these two vertices and lower down a little bit more. Cool. So we have the basic 2D shape of the shoe. So just grabbing a vertex, pushing the E key to extrude, moving around and clicking. If I want to lock it to the X, the Y or the Z axis, just pushing X, Y or Z. blocking the shape from all angles. I'm blocking the shape from all angles. So is that, do the same thing again, like front to top side. Okay. So I'm basically drawing a shape around the shoe from each side then. So if I look straight on, I can do the front. So I basically want that vertice and that vertice. I suppose, will I be able to extrude this way? I suppose with these vertices here, I want them to kind of follow the shape of the side of the foot, don't I? So move these out, so it kind of go back. Go into grid view, grab all the vertices, move them out so it's outside of the foot, and then just kind of move these vertices into shape to the foot, I'm guessing. And that kind of like follows the shape in this way. Because to a certain extent the foot shape is going to be the same on both sides. That's right, actually. Let's do the top. The top down is going to be easier to do. Well, probably not through the... There's a lot going on. Let's hide everything else. So it's not going to get in the way. So we're going to want to shape. Probably going to be a slight curve along the bottom, don't we? But then a shoe doesn't perfectly follow the curvature of the toes. It kind of just has its own curvature. So in the case of the shoe, it's got to come around here and probably curve a little bit to follow the foot. So the back's going to be easy because the back is just going to be fairly square. Yeah, we're getting there. Glad to hear. I suppose the easy thing to do would be to copy that side of the shoe, bring it over, and then kind of adjust it. But we want to kind of extrude, don't we? So it's all attached from the get-go. So I take that and now you can extrude along the x-axis. What I'll probably end up doing is adding a few more vertices along here just to kind of curve it a little bit. Okay, that's that one. I actually wanted that one to extrude. So we're going along the sole. lock it to Z. Extrude, lock to X-axis. Bring across so it's about just past the side of the foot. Also try planning out quad flow on the object because it will make things easier to work later. So we're planning out the quad flow. So basically we're going to be having the quads. I suppose the easiest thing to do would be to... Yeah, because it's going to have to be subdivided up, isn't it? So it's not just a... from what they call it, like a multi-vertice kind of shape. Right, let's extrude this way on the Y-axis. Can I ask you a weird question, Red Coat? Nothing stops you before? Go for it. Is it a foot-based question? If you come across a comic named Home Sweet Chromosome, what is it you think? What is it about? What is it about you think? So, what do I think a comic called Home Sweet Chromosome is about? Home Sweet Chromosome. Well, having the word chromosome in there is obviously a biological link. And the phrase home sweet suggests family or familiar. So, first thing that could spring to mind based on those words is probably keeping things within the family. So my one friend, you know which one, wants to make a comic with that name, and that it's about a very close family since chromosomes are family. I say everyone thinks it's about Down syndrome, so you want to say this? Yeah, the first thing I was thinking was sort of Down syndrome and anything that's like chromosomal defects. Like, so the home sweet kind of expanded me out. Yeah, because you think extra chromosome is what leads to Down syndrome. So I can see your point of it where it comes to that. You mean for Down syndrome? Okay, Nix is on your side, Jeffrey. Doesn't matter, I just don't want him to accidentally make fun of handicapped people without him wanting to test him. Okay. Yeah, so my immediate thought was Down syndrome. But the home suite put me more towards family. Yeah, chromosomes family, home suite is family. It's a very weird title, but then I wouldn't think any less. Down syndrome people have families, yeah. Yeah, if he's going to do any stories involving people with certain conditions, it's always good to do research. There's not to kind of new stereotypes or misinformation. My father's bassist, one that's best, if we're not the best bassist, no, his daughter with Down syndrome. Ah. I'm going to finish the base of this here. Lock it to the X. So we effectively have I'm going to zoom in and move over. I lost it. There it is. I sell emotes. Hey Lisa, sell the best emotes. I sell news both my own and others. Right, just gotta line these up a little bit. Sell overlays and emotes of Jeffrey's nudes. That's been a while since you've done that. Well, both of you have done that phrase. I grew up knowing a second cousin Down syndrome. Oh. Yeah, my best friend has a cousin with Down syndrome. I don't know anyone personally, which is a shame because every instance I've seen do seem to be lovely people. But they go the extra mile. Like they sort of typically just tend to see the good in most things. It was pretty awesome. Something to be learnt there. Used to live next door to a home for adult with mental disabilities. Both Down syndrome and other things. Oh. You don't tend to see them as often these days. Obviously still around, but... let's merge at last. Okay. So we have two sides. We're getting there. We're slowly getting there. Housing project lost funding and they put in youth with behaviour problems. Oh, yeah. That it's one of those unfortunate things that, yeah, young people with behavioural problems still need to be kind of handled somewhere. But you don't want it too close to where you live, at the very least. I'm thinking then, to kind of shape the soul, reshape the soul, and then build up so we can kind of bring all of this in to match. I suppose what you were saying, Dan, was to kind of do the soul kind of base and then kind of raise up from there, which makes sense. It makes more sense to do that. If I look down on this here, oh, let go of the key. Actually, I can probably do better from the bottom here, I guess. Lock it to Z, and probably not the best for you to look at it, but there we go. Just make sure it's all lined up. Cool. So yeah, so we do feel that that line needs to come out a little bit more. Only sometimes I was irritated because one of them was able to adopt a dog. I say irresponsible from the caretakers if they allowed. Black Labrador, which she managed to lose in the forest. Dog did not listen to her. Behind my house at 3 a.m. from time to oh no. She would scream at the top of her lungs at the dog while driving her mobility scooter through the forest. Oh no. Well, in the end, it was funny to think back to, but when you want to sleep, no brainer. Yeah. It certainly adds for a funny story, so to speak, but it's not something you want when you're actually living it. So let's go expand this out a little bit. Okay. So we kind of want to shape this a little bit. Could really do with chopping one of the legs off so it's easy to see what I'm doing. So if I do that, actually let's hide the... No, we don't need to see the shoe right now. So we want to basically, yeah, we're going to have to follow it around the front here, aren't we? So if I add a vertice into here, I can kind of just add a little bit of shape. Problematic youth brought dealers, a lot of trash in the streets, and praying lover boys. Oh dear. I'm going to put a vertice there. Try shaping from the top view as well. So that's looking down at it like this. It's a bit hard when the... Actually, I can see most of it from this angle, actually. It's not too bad. Really preferred the adult people with cognitive handicaps. They were friendly. But you know, government decides who goes where, not me. Well, in the end, I did decide moves. Well, yes. If you're fortunate, you can decide who goes where. Yeah, I can do a lot of modelling from the top view here. Like if I go Z, the only problem is the rest of the model's in the way of the foot. Be right back, dog time, okie dokie. Yeah, I could do with just isolating the foot to show. I'm not sure there's a way of doing that. Unless I copy the foot. Would that be a way if I copied the foot and basically extracted it and then hid the main model? Kind of look like a person has a dick. It's just a very unfortunate nose. Brilliant. Be right back. You continue to make hentai game. Jeffrey approves. If I end up going down the wrong paths, eventually I may make... So what's happened here? Where's all the grid lines gone? Oh, they are there. Speaking of Peter's nose, this reminds me of a story. Remind me of the back. Okay. Go walk the dog. Right, okay, before we go any further, I think it's going to make my life easier if I just get rid of that for the moment. Let's... Let's select that. Can we copy the foot and just work around the foot? Now if I take all of this here, is there a quick easy way to do this? So I don't want to separate it. New edge faces from vertices, vertices. You can duplicate it, then separate. Ah, okay, that makes sense. Cool. Let's duplicate the whole body mesh. So what have I got selected now? Is it under armature? What have I duplicated if it's not the body? Oh, there it is. Okay. Body 001. And go into edit mode. Go to wire mesh. We'll grab just that part of the foot. Separate the section. And delete the rest. Yep, we now have a disembodied foot. So we should be able to now find where the side's making the there it is. Just gotta rename that cube to shoe, so not to lose it. Right. Thank you for all your help so far. Do appreciate this. So it should be easier to mould it without having to have the rest of the model in the way now. There we go, top view. Awesome. Yeah, this is much easier. See the things you learn. So I suppose I want this to kind of curve a little bit more than it is. Now I want to insert a vertice here, ideally. Do we have anything that just adds the vertice in? Does knife just give you a... No. Knife is for slicing, isn't it? We haven't really got anything to slice. This way it makes it easy to kind of like draw around by extruding it, because it has all the vertices you need. I suppose I could subdivide the face, but then I have to move the vertice to that exact point. Let's have a quick check. Add vertex to an edge. How would you do that? Go into edit mode, select desired edge, use the subdivide, right click subdivide, create a new vertex at the edge midpoint. Also use Control R to loop cut, create multiple vertices on the edge. So Control left click to be more precise about the placement. Okay. Control R, add loop cut. Cool, okay. Oops. Not quite what we were after. Okay, we do the do Control R. Where's the vertice gone? Oh, didn't actually loop cut it. Loop cut, cut mesh loop and slide it. Ah, there we go. Oh, it's there for a moment. Mouse scroll to add more. Ah, gotcha. It came up, but it's disappeared again. It's there. Ah, let's push enter to actually get anything. Okay. Doesn't always work out as I was expecting. We got there. We'll go back to our top view. We'll move this down to about where the big toe is. That's probably about right there. So we pull these over a little bit. We're getting there now. That's why I prefer to extrude, yeah. So you just basically just get the shape as you want. That makes sense. See, this is learning why extrude is better, because I've done something the awkward way now. I can see actually extruding is a bit more fluid of the process. I suppose really I want it to kind of come in front of the toe a little bit more. Do that. Do that to give it a slight curved effect. I think that's going to be better. It's going to be a little bit more accurate than freehanding it, at least. I do better with technical drawings. Remember, it's like drawing something mechanical to a certain degree. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, my best type of drawing for me, like if I were to get a pen and paper, would be to have graph paper and a ruler and a pencil. That's generally how the best way I have drawn. But then if you ask me to like sketch a person, I like, what does a person look like? You ask me to draw the schematics for a machine, I can draw your machine. Okay, so I'm pretty happy that bit. Could do with this side matching that side. Yeah, doesn't have to match exactly because shoes are asymmetrical. Probably do bringing these sides in. Of course, need to shape the bottom here as well. Also remember when you did your shape, you have to match all the view together. Okay, yeah. Yeah, because it can look fine from one side and go, ah, no, that's not fine. Yeah, let's actually go back a couple of stages because I'm better off putting vertice in line with that vertice and just bringing this whole section over. So let's make sure our sole's looking good. Then we can match these two sides together then. If I put a vertice in line with that one, that would work quite nicely. the vertex in line with that one. Because, interesting enough, the vertices at the top do line up quite nicely at the bottom as well. It's interesting how the foot kind of works that way. So if I grab those vertices and move them over, yes, cool. Sign to take shape. Obviously the sides will need to be divided up. Do them separately, then join them together and delete the NCZ vertex. Ah, okay. Yeah, that would make sense. That's kind of... It's starting to look more like a wireframe of a shoe now. Quite happy with that. Thank you for the help again, by the way. It's all... I do appreciate kind of being pointed in the right direction, because I would have gone ahead with trying to shape a chisel try and chisel out a shoe, which may have produced something, but actually modelling by drawing edges by extruding vertices certainly makes more sense to me. If it's not quite smooth, we can smooth it out later. Let's zoom out a bit more, go proper overhead. That kind of looks like a shoe. Talking like a game loading screen. Did you know you can do this? Running away from monsters is probably advised. Save at every opportunity. There's a funny Facebook group of just parody game loading screen quotes. Not looked at it for a long time. Whoops, wrong button. Okay, so I'm reasonably happy with the front of the sole now. Let's have a look at the back. So this side, the inside doesn't need too much curvature, just kind of around here. So let's add a vertex probably around here. So we'll subdivide that. Probably put a couple of subdivisions in. We'll grab those two and move them that way. Something along those lines. See what we've done here. So we can do with probably a couple of vertices just to shape that side around. I'm back. Welcome back. Hope it's a good dog walk. But we need a good, probably, we've already got vertices here. Shoes naturally start curving about 2/3 of the way past the ankle here. Uneventful. Yeah, sometimes that's good. Yeah, I'd say actually probably yeah, let's go to top view. Top view is definitely helping us the most. Yeah, if I could stay in it. There we go. So probably around this point here, we want to then bring the whole thing across. So we want a do we? Yeah, we do. We do. So I'll put a vertex in line with that one, and then the whole thing can kind of angle around the foot. So let's there's a couple of subdivisions because they could be useful. There's that one there, wasn't it? Yes. Awesome. Okay. So there's those vertices there. Now we want to kind of I didn't consider that, did I? Suppose kind of what I want to do is proportional editing, isn't it? Just move this top one and have it more follow. Let's bring that right down. Not quite. Yeah, maybe not. We'll do the bottom parts first and we'll make the tops match. That's probably the easiest way to do it, isn't it? Yeah, like that. Let's get the sides to line up. Mainly that one we need to deal with. It's definitely short of a vertex to kind of just shape that a bit better. Ooh. Oh, I was hoping you forget about that one. So I don't need to remind you anything. Oh yes, penis nose story. So my cousin had problems with the Dutch word for penis, as in that he had to scream it 25 times a minute. He did this for 10 years between his 3rd and 13th. Eventually his mother told him if he can't keep it in, he would just have to replace it for nose. This continued for so long, nose became synonym for penis. So when a friend of the family came over claiming to have seen a man with the most enormous nose she ever seen, and my cousin fell on the floor and peed himself. Nice. Okay, that's a good story. Now, if you want to know what he actually said, Pamel. So that's Dutch word of the day, Pamel. Cool. Learning Dutch. Right, we're going there. We have a curved boot side, at least. So we make the other side. And then the back would be easy, and then the top would be quite easy. So in effect, we want very similar points as basically you want to follow these exact kind of. Gonna eat what? You gonna eat cheese? I didn't think you liked cheese that much. What's going on in these bits here? They're sticking out more than I was expecting. Oh yeah, because it's curving. It's fine. It's fine. I know what they are. Don't like melted cheese. Oh, okay. So you're quite happy with solid cheese. What I'm confused about is that one there. Okay, yeah, cool. But this is a Dutch cheese with nettle in it. Sounds weird. It's awesome. Have you mentioned this before? Like a nettle cheese. I wouldn't mind trying nettle cheese. I have nettle tea. It just tastes of green. Same way I can describe it. Just tastes of green. Right, if I extrude out to then match this outside and then kind of shape it around. I'm also angry at someone, and you being older than me, I feel like it's your duty to protect me and then to beat him up. This kind of point at, he said a mean thing to me. Go beat him up. Right, so let's grab this vertex over here. And we'll extrude up. It's playing 2 of my favourite games in English dub. Oh dear. First needs to be French, other needs to be Korean. Oh. To be fair, it would be very rare for me to actually play a game in anything other than English, because being English, my knowledge of second languages is pitiful. Damn it, go back. Always take the original language so lip sync. Yeah, that's a good point. Right, I want to extrude in the Z axis. Okay, that's roughly in the right place. Yeah, I suppose if it's got voice acting, then you want it to match as much as possible. We extrude across in the Y axis. It's about there. And extrude again at the Y to there. And extrude down to here. There's the next one, it's over here. We're slowly getting there. The good thing is once I made one shoe, I just basically copy, flip it. If anything is worth modelling, it's worth modelling correctly. And extrude in the Z axis down to there. And extrude. I'll roughly line it up and then lock it to Y. Let's go and match these vertices for now. He changes for me. I'm calm again. Cool. So you have this influence on people. Cool. We have now drawn we already had the bottom. Let's go back a bit. Didn't need to draw the bottom, we already had it. He's playing Stellar Blade. Ah. I think that's okay, to be honest there. So we can match, drag that vertice out, well, drag all of them out. Get to line up we getting there? We are getting there. So we want the vertices roughly in line with that, so I can basically shape. So let's hide the foot. At this point, we're not needing the foot. Just needing to grab that one there, and so about there. I could do with splitting one of these and then pushing one vertex one way, one the other way. So let's split this one. Let's plug. I'm going to have to hack my keyboard and put a bit of battery in it, or just remember to charge it every night. It kind of defeats the object of having a wireless keyboard when you have to have it wired most of the time. Oh, he's back. Welcome back, Lisa. That one has to be in line with that one there. Selling emotes for the next 5 minutes, limited time deal only. All those cool emotes. You can say I'm old school, but I hate keyboard needs. Say I'm old school, but I hate keyboards need to charge. Yeah. But the problem I have is I don't actually. Well, I have a desk, but I don't have a desk here. Like, I have a desk in the spare room, but it's a shared space. So this is only my kind of like quiet private space for streaming. So I don't actually have a desk. I literally have a keyboard on my lap. So the smaller the keyboard, the less wires I have. Kind of the more convenient it is. But then at the same time, batteries run out, which is annoying. But until I have a dedicated space, I can do this. But I used to have. Well, I still have my wired keyboard. It's a great keyboard. The only reason I stopped using it because it's massive and the cable tangles it up with all the other cables I have, because it's literally just a space between me and the computer and all the cables are coming across towards the bed. So it's not ideal. If I actually had all on the desk, all the cables be behind, I wouldn't use a wireless keyboard if I had a desk. Like, there's no point. Like, you're not moving the keyboard around that much that it needs to be wireless. But my mouse is wireless because, again, I don't want cables going across the room. Yeah, again, I suppose because the mouse is moving, a wireless mouse makes more sense because you're not kind of being tugged by the cable as you're trying to move it. But a keyboard doesn't move. Shouldn't have to be wireless, but eventually we won't have to worry. I need. Do I need to? I probably don't actually. I can make this shape match that shape now. To a degree, and I can work on that bit. Okay. We'll go for the overhead view now. We want to get this line to follow that line. Still need to look at things like that. My mouse is wireless, but I plug the wire in. Yeah, so I'm fortunate I can plug the wire in to charge this and to use this. But the wire is currently plugged into my charging station, so I can just put the mouse on the charging station. But if the battery dies, I can unplug it from the charging station and plug it straight into the mouse, which is pretty good considering the charging station isn't charging as much anymore. I don't know why. I think the contacts might not be touching properly anymore. I need to look at it. Right, so this bit needs a little bit more attention. So I probably need a vertice here to drag that over. One there to match up with that. So let's subdivide a couple of times. So my skills are increasing a little bit at a time. But the more you do things in Blender, the easier it's going to get. The same with anything, I suppose. Actually, let's think about what I'm doing a little bit more here. Because I still want that shape to remain. Use the Shift and X, Y, Z to lock axis while editing in perspective, because sometimes pane view kinda hard to see this shape. True. This is true, yeah. Go to the point. So this is the hard thing when it's... I want this vertice to move up to be in line with that one. So yeah, I want to lock. Yeah, I suppose lock the vertice that I need. The axis that I need. So this could be Shift and X. No, I want to move it in the X. Let's think my mental. I want it to move that way, but I don't want it to go up or down. Yeah, so that should be fine like L then. Yeah, so that's keeping, I think. Yeah, that's what I was worried about, is moving that way. Okay. Just going to move all of this that way. That's probably close to where it needs to be. Then we'll adjust the final bits. And the back's going to be easy enough to make. The front should be easy enough to make. And then the top should be pretty easy as well. So we could do with having a vertice here so that can join to it. So let's cool. We'll grab that one. Interesting, okay. I suppose that's the one that needs to come this way. And then could do with having a vertice there just to bring this across as well. But for now, let's merge these two. The top of the bottom, that's the top. So the top needs to conform to the bottom. Okay. I can use the... oh no, what's that one? But that's looking more shoe-like. Some of these vertices are probably overkill, but it's got a better shape. The back's gonna be very easy to do now. I might as well do the back. Okay, it's just joining that across the top, really. Let's want to curve this bit of the back a little bit more. Let's bring the foot back in. See what's going on here. Bring that in. I'm going to do nails again, so I'm gonna look. Okie dokie. You go and look. I've not actually mentioned these, sir. You know, I mentioned a little while ago. Let's go full screen. I was going to attempt to actually do my nails. It's a bit hard to see, but I've not chewed on my fingers for a few weeks now, and I've actually managed to paint my nails. And it matches the rest of the decor of this room. So it basically matches the rest of my environment. Oh my god! But yeah, it's really helped, because so many times it's like putting my fingers in my mouth because I'm stressed or something, But no, I don't want to chew them because they're... Nails look awesome. Thank you. I'll take a proper photo. Nick's bought me the nail varnish. It matches everything about me. So it's dark enough. That kind of goes alternative, but it matches everything about my my colour scheme. Well, thank you. I'm very happy. It's something I've been battling with for most of my life. I've been chewing up my nails. It's not a good habit. But yeah, go enjoy doing your nails. And looks very dark blue. Yes. Yeah, it's like a dark blue. It's got a shimmer. A nice shimmer to it. But it's basically the same. Very hard to see. Got some like all the woodwork in this room is painted pretty much the same colour. You will? Awesome. Looking forward to it. Just want to shape this a little bit. At least probably put a couple of vertices into it. Make it slightly more curved. Ooh, sounds awesome. Yeah. I'm very monochromal with my colour choices. So there's a couple of vertices in here. Let's extend that out a little bit, and then we'll grab and pull those in. Probably bring them down a little. So I could do with an extra vertice in there just to make life a little bit easier. Right, so if I make the top match that, the easiest way in my mind will be just let's take the foot away. There's draw points between here, and then just subdivide like I already have. Suppose if we go back into the top view there, because that line's there, I'm going to need to add 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices and drag it out to those points there. So if we go so there's 1, Goat Simulator 3 came out. Yes, it's on Game Pass. It's a free player. I love that they made Goat Simulator 3 and made it a free player co-op. Because fuck rules. 1, What? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. 1 was so good that they skipped 2. Wasn't there Ghost Simulator 2? Or they go straight to 3? Was that the meme of it? Okay. Now, the problem with what I've done there is that that line goes up to there. There was a 2. Yeah, I thought there was a 2, Nix. I don't think Ghost Simulator 2 was quite as popular. When you're happy with the line, you can start doing quad strip to refine the shape. So, can you explain a little bit about quad strips? Just to is that basically just putting in like panels, like quad panels, like faces, or like line actually doing the edges first, like doing the edges to make quads, I suppose. Because obviously there's a lot of shapes going on here. I suppose really I want to bring this back because the whole thing kind of comes up, doesn't it? It was a 2-player. So Ghost Simulator 1 was a 1-player, Ghost Simulator 2 was a 2-player, Ghost Simulator 3 was a 3-player. But this looks a far better shape than what I was going to do, so I'm very, very happy with this process. It's like planning how quad flow go on your model. Okay, I think I understand. Ooh, excuse me. Okay, yeah, I just looked up the basics of quad flow. Yeah, that's something I've not done before, so that's going to be interesting to learn. So you start with loop, is strip that go in a circle. Okay, yep. Then strip that connect to the loop. Then fill the rest of the hole that you're missing. Okay. I think I'm picking it up. We'll probably end up having to do that next time, because we are getting quite late in the stream. So I don't stream for very long. I do apologise for that. So loop, I can think here is like ankle and the sole. Okay. We have to move all of this backwards a little bit, because that kind of tapers in. I think in 3 dimensions, yeah, that makes more sense. I suppose really there'll be a shape around there as well. So look on your shape what you're doing. You can already see some on the loop. Okay. So, okay, so basically this could be lining up this way, isn't it? So vertice to vertice. So we've got 4 across the top, 4 across the bottom, and then effectively 3 on the sides, but the edge is already joined. So it will auto fill the lines in the middle. Is that what we're talking about? So I've done grid fill before, where I kind of had to match up the edges. That's the mindset. Cool. Yeah, I've done grid fill to fill gaps in, but I've not done it for my full manual mesh. If that makes sense. But it makes sense to actually use that process rather than actually draw it all in. You kind of line everything up and go, okay, yeah, this is where it will have the quads in it, and they'll kind of allows Blender to calculate the rest for you. The other thing is that line should really probably match up with there, to be honest. I'm gonna have to think about how I really want that to be. Because I do want it to follow that path. So I suppose realistically, there are too many vertices there, aren't there? You can do virtually model anything that don't require precision. Oh. I think the way I've done it, yeah, that needs to line up with that one. Yeah, so I can probably dissolve those 2 vertices and just let it carry on around. Yeah. Dissolve that one. And dissolve that one. There we go. So that tapers in, and it's still has a curve. I think the shape's going to be a little bit squiffy, that's the only thing. It can be a little bit twisted, but we can fix that afterwards once we've got the actual model in place. As you say, you don't have to be too precise about it, because that's going to come to, that's going to be shaped here. There's going to be a curve along this bit as well. So whether it's worth actually drawing in the curve to guarantee the shape at that point, or basically let it fill it in and then shape it afterwards. Probably the better idea. Yeah, we'll do that. So a quick look at the front. So we basically want to join these two bits at the top here around the same sort of curve. And probably a slight bow across the top. We can look at that afterwards. Right, let's do the shape across the top here, and then we'll call it a night. It's getting quite late. It's between that point and that point. That's right, isn't it? Yep. And we ended up with is it? Probably have to look at that before we shape that one a bit too much. Yeah, that's right there. I think. Yeah, because that pokes out, that pokes out. So we need to kind of extend out a little bit, because it's not just a straight flat down at the toe. I probably don't need that to be there specifically. It could probably come out. So effectively I just need to ignore those two vertices there. But otherwise, basically just shape it along here. So that's 1, 2, 3 vertices, 3 cuts. I suppose ideally I would have a quad coming down, a couple of quads coming down this way, and that's kind of those curves around there. So peace of mind, just gotta select those two. Yeah, so something along those lines. I think. Probably don't need that to be curved that much, to be honest. So we can probably remove that curve there and just go with this one. Because only really tends to be a slight bit at the bottom there, so yeah, let's do that. Let's not overcomplicate it. Just go with that as the that's the edge. Same on this side. Actually, this side's fine. Probably just pull this vertex out a little bit in the middle here. Just give it a slight curve. That makes more sense to me. And each of these will have a curve that points out. Oh, cool. I'm pretty happy with that shape generally. And I suppose it's really just the front around the top here. Let's go back to the top. It's going to be around there, I think. So let's mark that as a guess. Yes. From there to there. So where the top of the shoe. Or maybe even a bit further down actually. That one to that one. So the shoe draws across. So I'll put a face in there to say that's the opening. And if that has the same amount of vertices as this side, then it should allow it to marry up the two sides better. So it's only got two additional vertices there, so let's do 2 slices and we can curve that as well then. Something along those lines. Cool. Quite happy with that. I think I've already got most of a couple of bits of tidying up I need to do, but I can do that next week. I'm getting quite tired. And we've done a lot. We've actually learnt a lot. It doesn't look like it's much there, but I've learnt a lot, and I'm grateful for learning how to do this properly. Just kind of going around making sure all the quad flows could be fine, and then yeah, just put some faces on it. It's awesome. I'm going to switch over to the camera now. Thank you all for your help. Thank you for being here, whether you've been watching, lurking, chatting. I do Blender stuff every Wednesday. Trying to learn Blender on Wednesdays. I'm trying to learn Unity. Epic stream as always. Thank you for streaming. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I'm trying to learn Blender on Wednesdays. Learn Unity on Fridays, and Mondays is a chilled gaming stream. So if you like creative stuff, Wednesdays and Fridays are your nights. Thank you for being here. Hope you have a good night. Have a good rest. Enjoy the rest of your week. And see you next time. Yes, indeed. Oh, beer should be nice. But yeah, next Friday won't be a stream, but this Friday there will be. So yeah, we'll see you then. Hope you have a good night. Thank you, Dan. I do apologise. I can't say people's names. But thank you very much today for your help. Awesome to speak to you, Sam, as well, about your aspirations, and Abhishek. I hope you both get on with your get what you need from your game dev kind of aspirations. But we'll see you then. Dan is enough. Thank you. But thank you, Dan. I do appreciate everything you've helped me with today. So I'll be back next Wednesday for more Blender stuff. But if you want to see Unity game dev making silly games, I'll be back on Friday. So I'll see you all then. Have a good night. Have a good rest. Enjoy your week. See you Friday. Good night.